Okay, so let's talk about how the decreasing albedo will actually affect the ocean conveyor belt or the massive current that goes around the world. Um, Here's the current right here. We can look at it. We can see a cold, deep water current that goes around, and then we can see a warm surface current that goes around. Up here in the corner, because you're up by Greenland, you're up in the Arctic, the water gets very cold. When it freezes, it pulls the fresh water out of it, creating a very salty, cold water that will now go down to the bottom of the ocean because it's heavier. So remember, density is the quantity of things in a given space. So it's mass over volume. So if I have two containers, this container right here has more water in it than this container because let's say the ice is melting and we're adding more fresh water to it. So if we look at this, this would be if more fresh water would be added to it, and this one would be what it would look like normally, okay, a denser water. We can look at these two containers and actually do the math, and we can see the one with fresh water has a lower density than the one with less fresh water or more salt, because it's cramming more molecules into a single space. So it has a higher density. This is what makes that water sink. Well, can't make water sink if it isn't, the ice isn't forming, that isn't pulling the fresh water out of it. So if we go back to albedo, what's happening with is that it is a positive feedback loop because as the temperature is warm, ice melts, shows more water, which has a low reflectivity versus ice, which means that it absorbs more solar radiation, heats up more, then more ice melts, and then the temperature warms. So it just constantly is going around in this circle where we're losing lots more ice. So if we go back down to here, we can look at fresh water is either not being taken out to make ice, or as ice is melting, it's increasing the amount of water in the area, which then is lowering the density, which makes it so the water is not sinking to create this current. So as albedo decreases, water's warming, melts the ice, the density of the water is changing because there's more water being added, which will slow the current because the water is not pushing the current along. So that is what's happening.